Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan, and we continue our series on the real places in Fallout 76, looking at the real-world locations that they included in the game. But hey, first, if you love Bethesda games and you're not subscribed yet to the KingFanMan channel, why not? That's all I talk about here, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It won't hurt you too bad. The Land View Lighthouse in Fallout 76, located not far from Vault 76 itself, is based on the real-world Summersville Lake Lighthouse located in beautiful Mount Nebo, West Virginia. It sits on 57 acres of the Summersville Lake Retreat and Lighthouse, which is a favorite local campground and resort. It also sits close to the Summersville Lake, the largest lake in West Virginia with over 2,700 surface acres and 60 miles of shoreline. The lighthouse is 104 feet tall and stands at over 2,100 feet above sea level, giving it incredible views of the surrounding West Virginia countryside. In-game, the lighthouse offers similar gorgeous views, with many of the game's and West Virginia's landmarks visible from its top lookout. Places like the Top of the World, the Rockhound on Mount Blair, and even the new River Gorge Bridge. From the real lighthouse, you can see into 6 different counties and some incredible landmarks like the Summersville Lake and the massive 390-foot Summersville Dam and Gauley River National Recreation Area, just to mention a few. Even though the lighthouse is landlocked, it is a real working lighthouse, the only one in West Virginia. The beacon that is registered as a national aid with the Federal Aviation Administration casts its beam of light visible from over 30 miles away, assisting pilots, especially during extreme low visibility. The lighthouse weighs 77,000 pounds and was a former wind turbine tower. It has a base diameter of 12 feet, which tapers to 8 feet at the top. It is open to visitors, and they are allowed to climb the 122 steps to reach the top 360 gallery deck. Interestingly, the in-game Landview Lighthouse, instead of 122 steps, it has 76 steps. The Summersville Lake Lighthouse literally came into existence because of a joke. In 2009, a construction crew was working on the Beech Ridge Wind Farm in neighboring Greenbrier County, and just happened to be staying at the Summersville Lake Resort. The owner of the now Lighthouse Resort made a lighthearted joke to one of the workers, saying if they could bring one of those wind towers to them, that he would turn it into a lighthouse. One of the crew responded, "Funny you say that, we just lost one just over the hill." As it turned out, one of the newly delivered tower sections had been damaged after heavy rains undermined its foundation blocks, causing it to roll down the hillside and rendering it unusable for wind production. The owner of the resort made an offer to the owner of the wind tower and, true to his word, began to turn it into a lighthouse. With help from local wind farm contractors, engineers, and students from both the Fayette Institute of Technology and the Nichols County Career and Technical Center, they erected the tower in October of 2012. With continued help from students, instructors, and designers, they built the lamp room, gallery, and spiral staircase, and as luck would have it, the local airfield had an old vintage 1941 beacon light they weren't using. The project finished and was dedicated on October the 17th, 2012. In late 2015, with the completion and release of Fallout 4, Bethesda had begun work on their next project, Fallout 76. The lead artist at the time, Nate Perkapile, was tasked with going to West Virginia to find interesting places to include in the game. Nate just so happened to stay one night at the Summersville Lake Resort at Mount Nebo because he had been surveying the nearby lake and dam for the game. But once at the resort, the repurposed wind turbine tower immediately caught his eye. He made a call back to his colleagues at Bethesda proposing this beautiful and wacky landlocked lighthouse for the game. However, his fellow developers were highly skeptical. At first, they didn't even believe him that there was a real lighthouse in West Virginia. The answer from the Bethesda boss probably Todd Howard, was a lighthouse in a landlocked state like West Virginia might be too crazy even for Fallout. But to convince Todd and the team, Nate sent them pictures of the real lighthouse, and this is what ultimately convinced them it was real and it had to be included in the game. However, they decided to move the lighthouse in-game so it wouldn't be the first thing or one of the first things players would see after exiting the vault. In a later interview, Nate Perkopile said this move was a compromise or even concession from him because he had pushed so hard to have it included in the game. Todd finally said, okay, only if we move it. Either Todd wanted to keep this strange lighthouse as a surprise, or he was afraid some wouldn't take the game as serious if the first thing they found outside of the vault was a lighthouse in landlocked West Virginia. Interestingly, the game lore of the Landview Lighthouse has some obvious mirrors of the real-life location. In-game, the lighthouse was built on a whim by Vault-Tec University engineering students. They literally built it as a joke. It was a late-night dare among the students because they were tired of being mocked by a rival school for their less-than-practical projects. But the school thought it was a great project because they saw it as a wonderful marketing tool and they could make money from the tourists. Just like the real lighthouse, starting with a joke and ending with a beautiful tourist destination. This mirroring of reality shows us the depth of detail that went into the locations of Fallout 76. It's a clear demonstration of how Bethesda took a real-world oddity and wove it into the very fabric of its own fictional decaying world. Ultimately, the Landview Lighthouse is more than just a landmark. It's a perfect encapsulation of Fallout 76 itself. It's an homage to the overlooked, the unusual. In a state full of legends like the Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster, Bethesda chose to spotlight a small, landlocked lighthouse that is a beloved local attraction. The developers weren't just looking for spectacle, they were looking for character, and the tale of a repurposed wind turbine built for a joke, they found character as compelling as any monster or myth. Just like 76 itself, it may be an oddity, overlooked and even rejected by some, but so rich and full of character. It's a reminder to all of us, both in-game and out, to look for the stories in the strangest of places. Thank you for spending just a little bit of your time today right here in the King's Corner. Before you go, remember to like this video and make a comment. Both of those things help this video get out to a lot more folks. And hey, before you leave, check out these videos on other real places in Fallout 76. I am the KingFanMan. I hope to see you out in the wastes of West Virginia. Bye, everyone.